Welcome to the Last Diet Experience. On today's episode, I have for you Renae Fieck. She is a coach for female coaches that helps female coaches to build wildly abundant businesses by syncing their cycle. Now, what is cycle syncing? And I'm talking about menstrual cycle, has to do with business. If you haven't heard, it has to do a lot, but I'm going to let her tell us about it. Hi, Renee. How are ya?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, thank you for joining me and us, my listeners. I want to ask you first, just tell me a little bit about you and how you even uh, ended up in this world of like syncing
Mm.
cycles and business and all of that.
Yeah, well, I will admit to you, it was never somewhere that I thought I would be. Like, there's still some days, especially now that I have a teenager and all of her friends are on social media. And so they follow me or see me posting online. And then to hear some of the conversations happening there about like your mom talks about periods all the time was never somewhere that I thought I would be. I Going back to like when I was very newly having kids at home, I had 3 kids that were all under 6. I was actually pregnant with my 3rd baby at the time when my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Mm.
And we spent a year, in and out of doctor's appointments. There were lots of 911 calls. There were lots of, seizures. He couldn't drive for a full year after that. There was just so much that happened in that year, but it was the year that woke me up and realized how much we were living for the one day, someday down the road when things would get easier. And we're never guaranteed that day. We're never guaranteed the future. We're never guaranteed that if we put all of our cards in hoping for the future, like what if that future never comes? And so that became a really big wake up call for me to realize if I want to live life, life is happening right now, not in the future. And so I looked at what was happening in our world and I knew I wanted to stay home with my kids. I wanted to, be able to go on vacations and I want to do all these things. And so I started in network marketing and very quickly grew to trading all of my time now building this network marketing business again for the one day, someday in the future. And really got myself burned out and asked a mentor of mine at the time, I was like, hey, I'm not hitting the goals that I really have for myself. Like I'm working like this, I'm doing this. And she's like, business is just a numbers game. So if you're not hitting the numbers, that means you just need to do more. And at the time, with 3 young kids, and then my husband couldn't drive, and I was working, and all the things, I'm like, there is no more to give. Like, I'm multitasking, like pumping, eating my lunch, typing for the hospital, and trying to message like people on Instagram at the same time. Like there's no more to squeeze into my cracks. And so I came to that kind of moment of realizing like either A, business isn't going to be for me and I'm just not I'm not cut out for this, or something's got to shift. And I dove into every personal development hack I could find. I read all the books on habit stacking, the morning routines, how many color coded things could you put together, all of the stuff, and really got to this place where I was like, okay, something's not working. But in there, discovered that men and women are so different and that a lot of the tools, a lot of the systems, a lot of the strategies that are out there are really designed and built for the way men operate and how men's hormones operate. And it really isn't necessarily taking into account how women's hormones are different and how women's brains function different month to month or like day to day to day throughout the month. And so I really started diving into that, found that it changed the way I showed up. It gave me so much more compassion. Like even like today, I like totally freaked out on my kids last night. And then this morning I was like, oh, did I transition into my luteal phase? Like, is that why I kind of lost it last night and why today I'm kind of feeling a little bit low and feeling a little bit funky? It brings into awareness, like, what's actually happening and why we feel certain ways instead of just always thinking that there's something wrong with us. And so that became the moment that really shifted for me, and like everything started to kind of fall into piece. And I, at the time, was serving women in health and fitness. I had moved kind of into just helping more in personal development space. But I started sharing with them like what I was doing, and they're like, "This is what we need to know. More women need to know this." So they really became my biggest advocates at the time to like stop focusing on what I was doing and really pivot and share more of this.
Yeah, because we don't really get much education about our cycle
Mhm.
except to prevent pregnancy. When
Totally.
we're teenagers, like you know what happens, why it happens, and just don't do this because then you're gonna have that, and it's not good for your life, basically. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
c- yeah, and so I remember, like, we think of periods as something annoying, something that we
Mhm.
have to go through. I remember when I started getting my period, every time I would get a fever. I don't know why.
Mm.
Eventually it stopped,
Mhm.
but I would get a fever. So it was that experience actually made it even more annoying, worse, you know? And so
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think about it too right now, where I'm more aware about how my body works and
Mhm.
how to use it to my advantage. But not even
Mhm.
I'm not even there yet. I'm not that aware, but like just to know that my emotions will cycle throughout the month.
Yeah.
Um, that luteal phase that that you mentioned, that is crazy because I would panic and feel like the world was going to end every month, but I did not realize it was every month, and I did not realize it was about the same
Mhm.
time. And when I discovered that, I was like, oh, that's what it is. So it became
Mhm.
much easier to deal with that emotion,
Mhm.
and not continue that a downward spiral of this thoughts of like
Yeah.
everything's going to end, you know. So
Yeah.
what one thing that I found very beneficial to um understanding how to work with my cycles was to listen to my body. And when I was reading your
Mhm.
book, because people, she has a book. It's cycle syncing for business. Is it?
Yep. Yep. Cycle
Um,
sync your business. Mhm. You got
oh,
it.
cycle syncing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I binged that book. I totally binged that book, and I was. It sometimes I was thinking, okay, so I should be feeling like this when I'm in this phase of my period. And I should be feeling like that when I'm in that phase of my period. Before reading your book, I read another book about syncing your cycle with your fast. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
ever tried that,
Mhm.
but so like what you can handle, how much you can handle with fasting.
Mhm.
And one thing that I found is that at first it was not syncing. Like the book said that at
Mhm.
this stage of my period, I could handle longer fasts. And then the other
Mhm.
ones I shouldn't fast. And I felt the opposite. So what I really liked about the
Interesting.
book
Yeah.
is that in the end, you're you're saying, yeah, this is what it normally happens, but at the end, you listen to your
Mhm.
body because nobody's going to tell you
Mhm.
what you feel, basically.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
found that so calling, calling to me because I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, this is how it should, this is how it should be. I'm going with the shoulds, but
Mhm.
um, where it's really an individual thing, but because yes, everyone's an individual, everyone's different, but also there is like certain parameters,
Mhm.
or I don't know, what would you call that? Like I don't know,
Yeah, there's
rules and
there's
come
there's
up, but
some
I
predict there's some predictability. Yeah, there's
yeah.
some like, based on what we know in science about estrogen and what we know about progesterone and how they operate, like there is some element of this is how the cycle typically runs and this is how people typically feel. But there is, like you said, there's always these variances. Like I have clients of mine who will come to me and they'll say, as soon as I ovulate, the day after I ovulate, I'm done. Like there's no more energy in me. I'm like super doubtful. The fear crops in, those limiting beliefs crop in. Like I'm a totally different person versus other women tend to feel a little bit more of a gradual shift, like as their hormones change off. And some of it may be abnormal, right? And I think that that's a big thing to pay attention to is like, not only are we starting to listen to our bodies and paying attention to like, hey, this is how your body shows up. But as you start listening, you're able to determine, is this just my body and how my body shows up? Or is there something abnormal happening within my body? And now I can actually get help and support and be able to shift and make those changes. I know a lot of women who struggle with a lot of like really big mood swings and PMS and, really painful periods and all these things. And while I'm not the expert in that area of like healing those types of things, I have lots of friends who are, and a lot of my friends will say none of those symptoms are normal. Like none of those symptoms are normal. We've normalized them in our society because they are very common, because a lot of people have them, but they're not necessarily normal. And so when you start to look at like, hey, this is how the body typically should run. This is how it happens. We all are going to have our own variances. We're going to all have our own little spin off of it and how it goes, whether it's long cycle or short cycle, or maybe we ride through it pretty easy. Maybe certain phases are more difficult. Like I know for a long time, I used to tell my clients, take the first 3 days of your period off of social media. Like don't come on social media. And a lot of my clients would come back and be like, hey, you know what? It's actually not the period part that makes the big difference for me. It's like actually the days before. And so then it was like, oh, well, now I have like all of these women who it's both, right? So some women, it's the week of their period, they feel like totally done. And others, it's the week before. And once their period hits, they like feel like they're back on their game again, right? So it really is this thing that I think that the cycle and the structure is there and it's great. And I always tell this, like you can go grab a cycle syncing graphic. You can go find something on Pinterest and try to slap it into your life. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of what cycle syncing really is. And cycle syncing really, truly is helping you learn to listen to your body and lead from that place, like lead from a place of, man, I am so tuned into who I am and what is meant for me and what I need and what's available for me. Like that's the thing that's guiding me. And I think that's the big thing too. Like so many women will come to me and say, well, what happens if, like today, right? Like today you and I are getting on a podcast. Earlier this week, I think I was on the tail end of ovulation, but now I think it's like that energy is gone. The ovulation energy is fading. And I'm moving into more of that luteal phase feel. And so in that, I know like, hey, I do need to show up for this. Like I do need to be able to communicate with you and be on camera and be relatable and like all these things. But I know it's going to take more of me today than it may have if I had done it like 3 or 4 days ago. And so knowing that, it's like, okay, now what does my body need today? Like how do I support myself in that? So, before I made sure I went out, actually this morning, I sat out in my backyard in the sunshine and I drank some cacao. I tried to meditate, but my puppy would not let me. He was like digging into everything all around me and like playing all around. And I like more of my meditation was spent saying, Theodore, no, than it was actually meditating. But like that like I was very intentional knowing, man, I'm feeling a little energy reserved. Like there's not much left there. So how do I bring it back up a little bit so that I can show up? And I think that ultimately is what cycle syncing does for women. It's like, yes, we can become more productive. Yes, we can know how to eat better for our bodies so that we're actually supporting ourselves nutrition wise where we're at based on our phases. We can work out in a way. Like I know there's no way I would go push myself to do a HIIT workout today. Like Absolutely not. Not gonna happen. Like,
Uh,
I know that, right? And it's not because I'm not consistent. It's not because I'm not committed to my goals enough. It's not any of those things. It's knowing this is where my body's at, and this is how I'm gonna love her and support her and show up for her today based on where I'm at. Does that mean I'm not moving forward towards my goals? No, like I know health is a huge thing for me this year. And so 100%, I will still do something today. Maybe taking this darn puppy for a walk so that he stops chewing on everything. But it's like there will be something in there, but it's going to meet me where I'm at and help support that. And I think that's the deepest underlying piece of what trusting your cycle can really do for you.
mhm. I think a big piece that we forget sometimes, especially as women who um, have the title of being in charge of the household or just the family, is that
Mm-hmm.
rest is part of the process. Rest is part of
100%.
the work. Because if you don't
Mm-hmm.
recharge your energy, however you need at that stage of your cycle that you're at,
Mm-hmm.
you won't have the energy to do those tasks. And
Mm-hmm.
you do them because you push yourself, but from a very different energy. And
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference, not only to you, your experience, but the experience with your loved ones, with your family. So tell us a little bit about, well, not a little bit, just the short version of what is expected in every stage of our cycle.
Mm.
Like what you
Okay.
would
Yeah.
expect or yeah.
For sure. So generally, like the very beginning of our cycle, like that would we will say that's the menstrual phase. That menstrual phase, most of our hormones are kind of at their lowest point. They're a little bit more stable. We might feel a little bit exhausted, depleted, like energy rich, like even just physiologically. As we lose blood, we're losing iron, and iron has a lot to impact, like it impacts how much energy we have, right? I work also in the NICU, and when we have babies that are low on iron, they're the sleepiest little things ever, and we have a hard time waking them up to actually eat. And we're like, oh, let's give them some iron. Makes a huge difference, right? So
Mhm.
iron, like as we're losing that blood, it does physically exhaust us. It physically drains us. And so knowing that, like that's totally normal. It's also one of our most intuitive times. So I look at it as like, hey, your body's tired, you're tired. It's asking you to slow down so that you can actually listen, right? In our world, there's so much busyness. We've got our phones dinging at us all the time. There's emails coming at us all the time. Like even last night, I told my kids, I'm like, do you know how many things are coming at me all day long? Like your soccer, your football, like your this, that. Like there are so many things coming at us all the time. And when we're going and jumping between all of those things, we never actually stop to listen to what our intuition is telling us unless we're really good about it and like practicing it. And so I think this is our body's natural way of reminding us to slow back down, tap into our intuition, figure out like what is meant for us this month. What is the focus we want to go on this month? What are our goals? What are our intentions? Like where are we headed? And really crafting and creating that North Star for yourself so that you are aligned with where you want to go and taking actions that match up with that. I know for a long time that was one of the biggest things that was getting me off kilter was that I was going and I was working all the time, but a lot of the stuff that I was doing was not actually moving the needle in the direction that I wanted it to go. It was busy work, or it was work that somebody else said I should be doing, or something like moving me in a direction, like the things that I thought I needed, right? And instead, if I had gotten really good about slowing down and listening to what is it that is actually steering the bus for me and like what actually really matters to me, probably would have saved me a ton of time, but also keeps you on track every single month.
Mhm.
Then, as your estrogen picks up, your estrogen is going to rise, and that estrogen is going to make you feel totally ready to take action on all of those ideas that you maybe just came up with. You're going to feel so productive. Maybe you're checking off the to-do list, the vet appointments, the doctor's visits, like checking everything, and like really like you are a powerhouse of like productivity and getting things done. It might be easier for you to wake up early in the morning. You might be able to stay up later at night. You might not need as much food. You might feel just like totally ready to go and on fire all week long. Like that week is your powerhouse week for getting so much stuff done. And then as you round at the top of that estrogen curve, that's when you're ovulating. And when you're ovulating, your body, it's like a natural biological effect. It's like telling the world on a very like it actually physiologically is changing. Like we see like the birds, in the animal kingdom, they'll like flash up their feathers, or they'll throw out different scents, or they'll do different things. Like they've found the same thing happens for women. Your body is changing. Like your pheromones change, your skin changes, your saliva changes, your glow changes, like your smell changes, like things change about you. And whether other people can consciously know it or not, they sense it. Like there's off if you pay attention, just pay attention to when somebody says, "Oh my gosh, you look so good today." Chances
Mhm.
are you are ovulating, right? Like, and we just don't know it. Like we don't pay attention to it. And so that is our time when we are the most beautiful, we feel the most confident, we feel the most magnetic, we feel the most radiant. It is a great time to do anything that would require those skills, like putting ourselves out there on the internet, showing up live, having a conversation, doing all of those things. And then as that estrogen dips off, then progesterone kicks in, and progesterone feels very different. Progesterone can be very productive. A lot of people think like, "Oh, it's a lazy week." It's actually not. Like progesterone, if you've ever had one of those days where you go through and you completely clean out your entire kitchen or your kitchen cabinets or your refrigerator or your closet, or you're like,
Mhm.
man, I'm going to declutter this whole closet. Chances are that was your progesterone. That was your luteal phase. It's a very much a nesting, organizational, behind the scenes admin type of energy. And so you might become a mad woman in terms of those types of tasks, but making you show up on social media, or making you, speak to a boardroom or do those types of things makes you want to crawl under your skin. Like it just does not mix. It does not match. And so that progesterone phase tends to be a little bit more of an inner phase. It's a phase when you don't want to do necessarily out with other people, but you may still really be productive behind the scenes. You might be cleaning out your desk drawer, or cleaning out your inbox folders, or, doing all those like tidying things that can be very detail oriented. But it also can come with a lot of doubt and a lot of fear, a lot of I'm overwhelmed. Like we can feel like we're the world's worst mom and business owner, and we're spouse, and we're like failing at literally everything. And all of those are normal too. And I oftentimes like that. I feel like without a doubt, they come up during that phase so that we can process them, lean into them, learn from them, move through them. And then that next phase we go into, we're an expanded upper level version of ourselves every single month. But what a majority of women do is just kind of try to stuff those down and don't process them, don't pay attention to them, don't look at them. And then they just keep compiling, and they become this like festering mess instead of actually processing and moving through them every month.
Yeah, I think I think we do that a lot, and it's
Yeah.
okay. As you're describing the luteal phase, just like the end of it, it just sounds like we have this big need for control, and not in a
Mm.
that way, but like need to like you say, declutter, make space for something
Mhm.
new, maybe, and then we feel like things are falling apart. Like that's what I experience in my luteal phase. Like, oh my god, everything's
Yeah.
gonna fall apart, and just this need for control, and it just makes me wonder, like, uh, biologically, what would be the need for us in our luteal phase to have that sense of control? I mean, that's a very deep
Mm.
that's a it's a deeper
Mhm.
question, but that would be interesting to
Yeah.
kind of dig into that. Do you have any thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
Well, I kind of wonder, and I would be curious to know if
Mhm.
it's something that you feel like control is one of those things that you tend towards naturally, right? Because
Mhm.
I definitely am one of those people. Like, I don't want to. I control is one of those, not control, like it's one of those ones that keeps popping up for me of like, this is a lesson I need to continue to learn in terms of control. But I always have looked at the luteal phase less on me trying to maintain control of things and more of me as shedding things that no longer
Mm,
serve me. So for
okay.
me, that phase actually becomes the phase where I let go instead of trying to hold it together. So for me, it's
Mhm.
less about controlling and keeping things in and more about like, let this go, let this go, let this go, like move this through, like no longer need this, no longer need this. And more of a purging. I would look at it more as a purging for me than as a like, I'm trying to control everything. So for me, if it's like going through my refrigerator, it's more of like, let's cleanse this stuff out. Like, I don't need this anymore. Like, this is no longer serving me. This is no longer needed. Like, let's start fresh. Let's start clear. Let's
Mhm.
start like on with a blank slate. Um, and less of a like, I have to have it done in a particular way, if that makes sense. And so for me, I think that it just is like we're all in our own lessons, right? Control is one of those ones. It's funny you brought it up because it's like even today I was sitting there like, where am I still like trying to hold control? And like I don't like letting go of control. And I think part of it comes from, childhood wounds of feeling unsafe. And so I had to be the one in control because if I wasn't in control, like somebody else wasn't looking out for me, like that type of, thing. And so that
Mhm.
those childhood things stay there and they keep popping up and perpetuating for us even as we move forward. But the luteal phase is a great place for those things to kind of pop up for me to ask those questions, right? So
Mhm.
if control is one of those things that keeps popping up for you in that luteal phase, I would invite you to journal on that and say like, why does the luteal phase kind of anxiety or in it's not the right word, incite like that feeling of control for me that I have to control things, and what if or what would it look like if I let myself go? Like, what if I just let myself go? Right? That those like letting yourself go into the feelings. I'm going to give you a little, a little inside sneak
Oh.
secret. Don't go share this anywhere. This year, I am hosting my Awaken retreat
Mhm.
again. And then the past, my retreat has focused a lot on business. So like I've noticed, somebody was asking about it the other day. I've noticed as the business or as my business has evolved and as my retreat has evolved, it went from a place of like really working on business. And now it's more on like, let's work on you and let's show up. Let's like help transform you because if I transform you, you're going to show up in your business in a whole different way. And yes, we'll talk
Yes.
about some business stuff here and there, but it's like really not the main focus. But this year, I keep getting this like little intuitive pull that we need to do some stuff around like rage and letting go of
Right.
control, like letting go of those emotions. So anyway, that was like there I haven't announced it. I haven't put it anywhere and it may be just like a surprise for those people that come, but there will be
Okay.
some stuff in that around really letting go of the
Mhm.
control of our emotions and the feelings and like the feel that we have to keep it together and that we have to look a certain way. Um, so anyway, that was a
Yeah.
whole tangent of your question,
Oh,
but
but I love it. I love it because it's true. And maybe it's not control. It's not a stage of trying to keep control, but control is the reaction to what the stage is for, which is to clean out what doesn't serve you anymore.
mhm,
And because there's this
mhm.
fear of letting go of what of the known, what you already know, what you even if
Yeah.
it's chaotic, you
Yes.
know how to work with it. And letting go, it's very
Yes.
scary. Control comes to
Yes.
soothe that fear,
Yep.
right? So maybe it
Yeah.
is more about letting
Mhm.
go of what's not serving you anymore, and
Mhm.
you can start the new cycle, right? And then
Mhm. Mhm.
and control is what is getting in your way. Oh my God, that
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
You
aha moment for me right
yeah.
there.
No, you You totally. So, when we look at fear, fear is our biological way of protecting ourselves. It's our way of keeping us safe. It's the way, like our nervous system doesn't know on the other side of this fear, whatever it might look like, whether or not we're going to die or whether or not we're going to be fine, right? Even
Uh,
in the most beautiful and amazing things. Like if I said, Lizzie, I'm going to give you $1 million today. Like if I was able to hand you over $1 million, right? There's a part of you that would be so excited. There's
mhm,
also another part of you that would be like, oh my gosh, how is this going to change my life? How is
mm,
this going to change my relationships? How is this going to impact the way my community sees me? How is this going to impact the right? So like our brain subconsciously is going through all of these other things. And if the
mhm.
fear of those like subconscious things is bigger than the belief of what we know about ourselves, then what happens is that then we self-sabotage. And that's why we see so many lottery winners lose all of their money, is because their identity did not match the new thing that they had. They didn't the new like the money, right? For example, like their identity did not match that level. Their identity was still stuck back where they were before, and the fear of holding on to that was more worrisome, right? So our body is really smart. Like it wants to help protect us. Like it wants to keep us in the safe space even if we think that on the other side of it it's going to be amazing. So, yes, in that luteal phase, we're getting overwhelmed and we're feeling all these things and we're questioning things, and that fear comes in and we want to control it all. Like we want to keep ourselves, like control helps us feel like, okay, if I know what's coming, if I know what's on the other side, because letting go and purging and releasing oftentimes can be a very scary place for people to be, because when we
Yeah.
let go of the known, when we let go of what we feel, when we let go of what feels safe, what we let go of identities that we're maybe holding on to, on the other side of that, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. And so fear comes in and can make us not do that. And I think that's where we see the control come in. Because the
Yeah.
control is like, oh, let's keep ourselves here. Like, let's not let go. Let's not release. Let's not purge. Let's not shift into a new place because we don't know what that new place is going to look like. Where we'd rather stay with the trauma or the pain of where we are right now than the
Mhm.
unknown of where it could possibly go.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that okay. It's like I owe you a session right now. Because I never thought about it that way. It's always been like, oh, well, so I feel like the world is going to end. Oh, what day is it? Oh, it's my luteal phase. Oh well, and just let it go.
Yeah.
But again, I let it go, right? But yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense because also with this new year, um, I don't know if I'm sure you do some kind of exercise or ritual to plan out certain goals for your business, for your personal life, or whatever. And that's exactly where I was. I was doing that. And one of the questions in the whole exercise was like, what are you letting go of? And it was very triggering
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, well, what do you mean I want to let go? I don't want to let go of anything. I have all these lessons,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was good, bad, whatever, it was all these lessons. Like, I want to keep it so I don't forget the lesson, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to other people about it, and it hit me that it's not about letting go of the lesson,
Mm-hmm.
but leaving that the old me, the old
Yeah.
person that believed that did not know the lesson
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
And which reminds me of like one of the things that that triggered me. That's not a good word. That put the idea in my head that I wanted to have you on the podcast
Mm-hmm.
was exactly what one of those shifts, those mindset shifts that I had where I realized that I've been chasing this idea of I want to be this woman and I
Mm-hmm.
work to become her. And I
Mm-hmm.
was reading this book. I don't know if you've ever read the top 5 regrets of the dying.
No, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful book. Totally recommend it. But
Mhm.
she said something that made me think of what my journey into finding this person I want to be. She changed it in a perspective of, instead of like I'm trying to become this woman,
Mhm.
to I am. I just have all these layers on me from experiences, beliefs, society, parents, like everything that I've collected in my life. And
Yeah.
I have put all these layers, and all I'm really doing is peeling those layers to
Mhm.
uh fully shine as this beautiful being that is just perfect as
Mhm.
is. Um
Yeah.
but no,
Yeah.
it's one of the things that I reached out, was like, this is what I'm trying to do. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, to be just transparent about, like, my journey and my stories, like, I started with cycle syncing more in this place of how do I become more productive? Like, how do I get more done in less time, right? Like, I shared about that, like, that was my story of, like, I wanna build this business and I want it to be amazing, but don't have enough time to do it. But over the time, it's really been this lesson and brought me back to my body every single time. Like, it's brought me back to trusting and owning my body, and even then just doing what you're saying now, like, I think there's been a couple of pivotal moments, like, there was one breathwork session that I did probably about 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago somewhere, and I remember in the session, the woman saying, "Can we let your limiting beliefs just be here?" Like, what if that we weren't trying to get rid of all of our limiting beliefs? Was if what if she didn't say all this, but this is my ad lib. But like, what if
Mhm.
we didn't have to like let go of all of our beliefs? What if we didn't have to let go or shed the versions of us that are here? Like, what if all of those pieces and parts got to be with us no matter what? Like, what if we could hold that, like you said, the beautiful, most, like, inherent version of you that's already there. She's already there. Like, the most, amazing, beautiful, wonderful, like, embodied version of you is already here. And she has all the layers of mom and partner and friend and, business owner and client and coach and like all of those pieces. Like all of those pieces get to be here and they get to be with us, right? Just the same as like all of our beliefs. I think that what has happened for me and where I've seen is like in the personal development space and in the business space, there's so much emphasis on us becoming something different than we are. There's
Mm.
so much emphasis on there's a problem in us that we have to solve in order to get where we want to go, which makes sense. Like I actually wrote an email. I have not sent it out to my list yet. It's sitting in my drafts folder. But it was like I even think I put the subject line of like I probably shouldn't be writing this email right now, but it was in this concept of the whole the whole industry, the online marketing industry, it's all focused on creating a problem and providing a solution for that, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's great when we look at it when it's like there is a problem, right? My car broke down. I need somebody to fix it. Problem, solution. But I think what's happened in the marketing space and the online space and the personal development is we've created problems that maybe
Mhm.
weren't there in the first place. Right? So now we have all of these people going around saying like, I need to shed my limiting beliefs. I need to become a better version of me. I need to uplevel my mindset. I need to let go of this or whatever. And it's like, what if none of that needed to be? And you were just here and you found a way to fully be present with your body. You found a way to be fully, like, to allow yourself to be fully seen. Like, I know that I have limiting beliefs. And I also know those limiting beliefs aren't going to keep me from where I want to go because I've acknowledged them. They don't hold the power over me, but they are going to keep coming back. They're going to be like, oh, hey, we see you. Like, and I'm gonna be like, oh, yeah, I remember you're here. That's okay. Right. Instead of this feeling of like, there's some part of us that has to be conquered. There's some part of us that is a problem that needs to be solved. There's some part of us that's wrong. I think that's the inherent thing is the online industry as a whole has created this feeling of like, there's something wrong with you. And what I feel so strongly in my gut is like helping women get back to the place of like, there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There is no part of you that you have to like let go of. Like, yes, you're going to have to move through fears. Yes, you're going to have to move through doubts. You're going to have to like put yourself into places that you never had to go. But that doesn't mean that right now where you are, there's anything wrong with you. It's just that every season, every moment is a new opportunity for you to like step into it more fully and to step into it more fully. And I think for me, I'm like, again, going on a tangent, but this has been something that's been really bothering me lately. And this feeling of whether it's your menstrual cycle, whether it's business, whether it's nutrition, whether it's life, whether it's whatever, is like we've created a systemic culture of women and men. I don't think it's inherently just to women, but that there's things wrong with them. There's something wrong with you. Instead of helping women be like, wow, how do I actually really love myself? Even when I'm overwhelmed, even when I'm frustrated, even when I'm so full of doubt, like, how do I know that inherently I am loved and I'm worthy and I'm desired and I'm okay, even when I'm in this human experience that encompasses all of those things? Right? All of those things get to make us human. But I think in our society, we've like labeled it as like, wow, if I feel fear, if I feel doubt, if I feel limiting beliefs, if I feel whatever, there's something wrong with me and I need to fix them. Instead of just saying like, what if these were part of the human experience and I'm here to embody more of me and feel all of these things at the same time. Like have so much more compassion for ourselves, I think is ultimately what it is. It's like, how do we have so much more compassion for right where we are and know that we're evolving all the time? Anyway, this was not menstrual cycle related at all, but like I said, you got me kind of started. And I wrote an email. It's in my drafts. I have not sent it where I was like feeling some of these things and you just like opened up the gateway to say it.
We just open it up. Yeah, we took a door that we weren't expecting to open. But I love it. I love that we get into that. So, okay, let's pair it with the cycle. And would there be a moment in the cycle where we would focus on that self-love, or does it happen in every stage of the cycle, just in different ways?
Yeah, I think it's probably every cycle or every phase, but in different ways, for sure. So, in that phase when we're feeling a little bit more fear and doubt and limiting beliefs and stuff like that, it may look vastly different. It may be a little bit more raw. It may be a little bit more like we've been chewed up and spit back out. Like it may not feel quite the same as like a week ago. I was like, I am a fucking goddess. Like, this is amazing. Like, I was riding high in that energy, right? And so for me, in that energy, that's what I was channeling. And that's what I was like, oh, this feels so good. Like, this is how I feel. Like, I'm like, I felt so invigorated by it. And even this morning, I was like sitting in my meditation and I was like trying to channel back in that feeling that I had. And I was like, that's not it today. Like, it's not here. That's not it. And so today there's a lot more compassion. There's a lot more like, oh, can I be maybe a little like instead of big and expansive and like feeling high on life and, beautiful and radiant and all these things, like, how can I be grounded and how can I like nurture and how can I see those sides of me too? And I think that's part of it is that our society has conditioned like certain parts of us are more beautiful than others or certain parts of us are more valued than others. And
Mhm.
we don't as a society, we don't see winter, and we don't see the brokenness as valuable as a
Yeah.
whole, right? Like, you even talked about, like, this is the beginning of the year and, like, setting New Year's resolutions. We're right in the middle of winter. Like, winter is
True.
not the time to be going after big goals and, like, setting new big things. It's about our menstrual cycle. It's this time of purging and letting go. Like, as we purged and let go, and like now we move into this place of, where do we really want to go? And like, what are the intentions that we want to set? And like, who do we want to become? And like, spending a little bit more time mulling over that, rather than feeling like, January 1st, here we go. We're a week into winter, but now we're like ready to hit our ground running.
Right.
Right? And I think there's just so much in that too. Is like, January 1 is still like, we're in this, even the whole month of January. I have not set goals for this year. I mean, I
Mm.
like, overarching, I'm like, yeah, I'm like ready for my $1,000,000 year. I'm like calling in my $1,000,000 year, but it's not like, this year, this is my goal, $1,000,000 year, right? Like, but I have not set goals for this year, because it's not the beginning. That's not the beginning of it yet. Like, I'm still in that space of like sitting with, what is winter here to serve me? How is winter here to serve me? How am I here to sit in the darkness, sit in the unfolding, to sit in the brokenness? And how do we sit in that? And I think that our society doesn't do that. So when we can get in that place where we can like be okay with ourselves in those moments, like be okay in the luteal phase, when we're crumbling and overwhelmed and falling apart, and we can be okay in the middle of winter when we feel like maybe the world is falling apart. Like, maybe like maybe the world is falling apart right now, but like, how can we sit in these places of just like being in the brokenness and asking what the gifts are available for us in those seasons of brokenness, rather than trying to slap band-aids on it and kind of move ourselves along, which is what notoriously our society is all about, like holding high, holding amazing, looking really good, and like keep going, instead of like, no, really, like, it's okay to be broken, and it's okay to sit in that brokenness and learn what the brokenness has to offer you too.
Mm. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So if I'm looking, well, actually, two questions. Well, for
Mhm.
someone that's like, okay, yeah, I want to be able, well, not able, but want to be more connected with myself and with, and respecting or honoring my cycle and the energy that it brings me.
Mhm.
What would be one thing that the listener can do
Mhm.
today to start with um, that intention?
Yeah. I think, well, one, just making sure your cycle's actually in your calendar or that you're tracking it. Like, that's a first step. But even beyond that, I think is just asking, like having a moment in your day where you can be like, what do I need today? On a
Hmm.
physiological level, a spiritual level, an emotional level, a relationship level, whatever it is, it's going to change, what we feel like we need at times. But like, what is it that I actually need today? I think a majority of us are not even taking the time and the space to do that. We're just caught in the busyness of the going to the next to the next. Like, even for
Yeah.
me this week, my husband's working out of town. So I'm juggling life with 3 preteen teenagers going to multiple places all the time. And there's been days where I'm like, dude, I haven't even had a chance to breathe, And those are the days when I get like to the end of the day and I'm depleted and I'm exhausted. And it's like, okay, what do I need today? And last night it was like lights out at 8:30. Like, I'm going to bed so early last night, or even today, I was like, what do I need today? I might actually take a nap today. And so just having having that intentionality, that awareness to ask yourself every day, what do you need today? And letting the space for your body, for your intuition, for you to have that conversation with you instead of seeking sources outside of you would be my number one thing. And then two, if you were able, I mean, I took a week off of social media, my business, like literally everything. I usually do a lot, like a couple days at least once a month, during that period phase. But like taking off an entire
Oh,
week off of everything and totally tapping out. I recently did that between Christmas and New Year's, and I was amazed at how much shifted in my body when I wasn't present to all the chaos that's happening in the world, when I wasn't present to the trolls and the negativity, and I
mm,
wasn't present to the news or, somebody needing something or needing like whatever. It was like me just being with me and obviously my family and like living life, but like actually tapping out of my phone and business and everything for a week was seriously like so life-giving. It's so life-giving. And I think we're so wrapped up into it all the time that we don't even pay attention to it. We don't even notice it. So if
right.
you wanted to go like a little extra, I would say something like that.
Just take the time to recharge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, for the women who don't have a period anymore for whatever reason,
Mhm.
um, can they still follow this method?
Yeah. Yeah. So I firmly believe in the more that I've done this work that we're exist in a universe that is full of rhythms and
Mm,
cycles. So it's, you look at the planets and like the stars and the solar systems, like how they rotate, how it changes. We have seasons and summer and winter and fall, like they rotate. The tides of the moon or the ocean come in and out. The moon has its phases. I believe that 100% we exist in a world that operates in this cycle and seasons, and that it's only humankind that thinks that we can produce and be the same all the time, all the time. And so when we look at it from that perspective, we have cycles. They may look different, right? If you are pregnant, your cycle may be different than it does when you are actively bleeding, or when you're in perimenopause. Your cycle may look a little different than before or in menopause. It doesn't discount the fact that you have a cycle and that you have a rhythm and a way of being that helps you feel so much better in that. So I have found that like with a lot of the women that are in those varying stages or birth control or whatever, they found that following the rhythm of the moon, which is a monthly cycle like women, whereas the sun is a daily cycle like men, that following the
yeah.
moon cycle can help them continue to maintain that same sort of rhythm. So, yes, 100%. Like it looks a little different, may feel a little bit different, but I do believe that rhythm makes such a huge difference for women.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything that I didn't ask you or we didn't discuss that you think it's important for
Mm.
uh, our listeners to hear?
I don't
And
know. Covered a lot. We did a
I
lot.
know.
But yeah, I would go back and just say, like, give yourself grace with it. Like, there's so much in this world. And, like, as you start cycling and tracking, like, you could track everything and you could sync everything, your food, your nutrition, your business, your whatever. Just start
Mhm.
something small and do something that feels light and good and amazing for you, and let it be nourishing. Let it be empowering and not another thing that you have to add to your list of things to do.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
So tell us how we can connect with you, how we can find you. I want you to talk about your book and what you're offering,
yeah.
your course online.
Totally. Yeah. So, my book, if you are in the United States, you can get a free copy. You just cover shipping
Mhm.
and handling, and I'll send you a free copy. So, you can go to reneefieck.com/free book and grab a copy of that. Or, Lizzie, you probably have a link you can hook up. And then
Mhm.
if you are not in the United States, then you can get the first couple chapters of the audiobook. So either way, those are great places to start to kind of just dive in inside the chapters and inside the book. I like talk about, deeper how the men and women are different, how it shapes our brains, our bodies, like literally everything from the top down, how we can get out of this feeling of just hustling and going all the time. And then again, dives deeper into like, what if, I don't have a cycle, or what if I don't know where I'm at, or what if I'm in perimenopause, and all those types of questions. And it really helps you kind of look at like, how do I actually take the cycle and really apply it and use it in my life? So I would definitely start there. And then if you want to go deeper and you want to go more into not just the cycle, which I love talking about the cycle and like getting nitty gritty about like, where do we put things, but more in this place of more of the feminine leadership and like embodying that part of you and really going deeper into that. That's where my program, Your Cycle Advantage, is great. We dive into all of that. Like we have, like I said, the very tangible pieces, like we go into the masculine part of it of like, how do we organize your business and create this rhythm for your business that feels so good? And also like, how do we help you step into the version of you that you are so called to be and so ready to be? So both of those are great places to start. And I love hanging out on Instagram. So if you're over on Instagram, come over there and let me know that you heard me here on the podcast, and what you're walking away with would be awesome.
Great. Yeah, I will definitely put all those links on the show notes. So if you're curious, just go to the show notes, and there you will find her Instagram and her website and everything. And just FYI, if you can't wait to read the book, you can download it digitally on Amazon, Amazon Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did because I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Renae, this was very pleasant. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge, your experience, your time, and all your beauty of your
Thank you.
anecdotes and everything. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope it brought you a boost to your day. If you don't want to miss what's next, hit subscribe and come along for the ride. See you next time.